Hello, welcome to the show again. I am Wagner Barbosa, and I'm pleased to be here in behalf of Modern Vocal Training as your host for this show. And we are talking here about singing, training, and teaching. We are talking about music. We are talking about art, specifically going to the path of music, and more specifically, going to the singing world. It's my pleasure to be here today with a great friend of mine, Gwen Thomas. You see, he is a fantastic person. I will put in details just for you to take a look on the taste we're going to have today. He was the best artist in African jazz in 2019, and this most important award in Africa, the African Music Awards 2019. He's touring in Europe, Africa, and China. He's owner of XOL, which is a music label in partnership with Sony Music. And he was nominated as a music producer Shine Gospel Awards 2024 for the work with the gospel choir in Africa. If you want to check more for sure, you will find the information down below, or just Google Gwen Thomas and you'll see all the things Gwen is doing. So let's talk. Remember, if you have any questions, put in the comments down below. It helps me to build a show for you. And what is Modern Vocal Training? Modern Vocal Training, or MVT, is a globally recognized certification program designed to prepare vocal coaches for success in the modern music industry. Since 2018, MVT has certified nearly 500 coaches across 5 continents. Go for modernvocaltraining.com. We are waiting for you. Hey man, welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the show. So great to have you here, my friend. We're talking every day,
Thank you so much.
but it's great to have you here for us to have this conversation recorded, for sharing to people, our love, our passion in music, in teaching, producing, everything. So I would like you to present yourself with your words, what you would like people to know about you before we start the conversation. Could you do that?
Yeah, sure. Um, my name is Gwen Thomas. I'm a singer, a voice coach, a music producer. I'm really passionate about music. I was born in Gabon. My mom is from Togo and Gabon. My father is from Senegal and Mauritania.
Great.
My mom is Christian. My father is Muslim. So and they're still living together, and it's beautiful at home. So everything is about love and respect. So I grew up in this environment, singing in church because the family of my mom, they're really involved in church, pastor, singers. Like even my mom's used to sing in choir, my
Mm-hmm.
grandma too. So it's like I didn't have the choice. I was just born in this
Mm-hmm.
environment. Um, and then I grew up with the passion of music. Uh, and then slowly, gently, it led me to become to do it as a job.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, at first I didn't. I was like, I didn't want to dare to do it because uh, so many people say like in my family, you can do it as a job and everything. So I was just like dreaming about it, and then once I took the courage to do it, to take this path. So that's where I am now, and I see myself just as someone who loves to guide artists
Mm-hmm.
uh, to being uh, no, who love to guide singers
Mm-hmm.
into being the artist
Yeah.
they want to be.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's a very good point on what you do. I totally see that. And based on our conversations outside of the recording, that's our discussion all the time, like how to find a way to from singers to literally be an artist, how to express, how to even behave and how to like correctly convey the emotions they're looking when they have it clear, because it's not clear all the time. It's very difficult. Actually, I find myself in trouble when I try to discover or to show what the emotion I'm looking for in certain song. Imagine in the life, right? How is that for you? How do you briefly, how do you tease people to find their own path, their own artistic way? How's that for you? How do you look at it?
My way to look at it is through authenticity.
Okay.
Um, so I will always ask them where they're from,
Mm-hmm.
what is their story,
Mm-hmm.
because I truly believe that like it has a huge influence on what you do. Like, and you can even, yeah, there's even some artists, they build themselves as artists against something they
Mm-hmm.
have lived in hell in their life. So even if it's against or with,
Mm-hmm.
thanks to this thing you have lived, it's definitely connected
Yeah.
to your story. So for me, everything goes down to who you are and what is the environment you grew up
Mm-hmm.
in, because it is really important. I love to say that the first music we listen is the music of our parents,
Yeah.
and we do not choose to listen to this
Yeah.
music. They are the one putting the music out loud. Whether we want it or not, it has an influence
Yeah.
on us. So, and these are the little details I love to look for
Mm-hmm.
to really understand what is the DNA
Mm-hmm.
of everything.
No, man, and then just reinforcing that idea, I remember totally, and several friends from Brazil, we remember, for example, as kids, because, Brazilian people bring their kids to parties, like, oh, it's a
Wow.
night party. Everybody's drinking. Like, we bring our kids there for sure. Safe environment, we take care of
Sure.
of the little ones, but we stay there as kids. So then, the traditional music is playing, some party going on, and we sleep in some benches or anywhere,
Oh,
like, and you're there, you're listening.
exactly.
When you're bare.
Your body's taking the information.
Exactly. And remember, also, like, the music is not just the sound, right? It's like the sensation of the culture. It's like people having fun or not, people crying or not, they're dancing, how the body is moving. That's information. I in my
Definitely.
perception. I don't know. Do you agree? Do you
Oh,
feel it?
definitely. Oh, oh yes, definitely. It's information, and our bodies are so smart, are so intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we can move any part of the world and we can adapt actually,
Yeah.
because our body is really smart into getting into to absorb information.
Yeah.
uh, so even if you live in a country and you don't want to take the accent, at some point you
You
will,
yeah, you take it.
because the environment and your body is knows that I'm there, and it's just like a sponge,
Yeah.
So I definitely agree. Just being there, uh, laying somewhere, sleeping somewhere, like your body, you're sleeping, but your body is taking the
Yeah.
information and everything.
Especially as a kid, and then, like, all of that kind of coming back to the authenticity that you were pointing out, because then it's forged not just in the voice, not just in the mind, but, it's like the whole thing. Actually, we cannot separate. That's a
Yeah.
European idea of separation. Like, body is something, mind is something, spirit is another thing. Like, we're a full pact, in my
Yeah,
sensation, at least, in my sensation.
yeah, definitely.
um Bro, and then you stumble with the voice technique. How it was for you? How did you stumble with voice technique? It was by a personal problem in your voice, or anything that you were facing as a limit, or as a different way for you to go? Tell me about that.
So what I did is that I studied a jazz school.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I did like 2 years in a jazz school,
Mm-hmm. In
and
Switzerland, that's Switzerland, right?
in
In
France.
France, okay, in France.
Yeah, in the south of France, in
Mm-hmm.
Montpellier.
Mm-hmm.
So and I had singing class there,
Mm-hmm.
and I was not really convinced. When I go, like my mindset is like I'm going to the school because I really want to learn,
Yeah.
and when the teachers start to compliment too much, I feel like then I'm not challenged enough.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we're like, oh my gosh, you sing good. Yeah, like for me, it was like, yeah, I used to sing every Sunday
Mm-hmm.
since I'm a little kid in church.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have something else to tell me?
Yeah.
I need help. I want to grow. I don't want to be satisfied in my ego and
Yeah.
I don't want to. That's why I'm in school.
Mm-hmm.
I want to grow. Um, so somehow the teacher helped me more with the style than the
Mm-hmm.
technique.
Mm-hmm.
And but I w- and I kept doing gospel tour.
Mm-hmm.
I did a lot of gospel gigs, concerts,
Mm-hmm.
and I was always at the end of the concert with no voice.
Okay.
My voice was really tired, and it started to hit like there are singers. They have like hundreds of concerts, and they still have voice. Like, is there something I do wrong?
Yeah.
That's how it started
Mm-hmm.
to
Yeah.
and then one of my friend was studying speech level singing,
Mm-hmm.
and he was so happy, so proud when he got
Mm-hmm.
his first
Mm-hmm.
level one. And and I got more curious to really understand like what's this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I slowly gently started to take classes with SLS teachers,
Mm-hmm.
and I discovered like a whole new world.
Yeah.
uh, I discovered a whole new world, and it completely changed my voice. And then that's how also in this in this way in this journey I met I met Andres, I
Mm-hmm.
met you,
Mm-hmm.
I met Magda, I met like these environments of all these vocal coaches, and they know so much about the voice. And for me it was so weird because yeah. So singing in Africa is very natural, and
Yeah.
there's no such pride to say I'm a singer. I can sing. Like
Mm-hmm.
everyone will tell you, me too.
Yeah.
What else?
Yeah.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, singing was so natural.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It was so natural that when I started to encounter like all those great teachers, voice coaches, for me it was like, oh my gosh, there's a science behind.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's science behind
And you
it.
know one
Like
thing
it
that
really helped me to, yeah. Tell me,
no,
tell me.
just to to add to it, in Brazil, as you're saying, we have that feeling, and it was not. It was like, let's say 10 years ago, perhaps a little more, a little less. It was uh, the artists. They didn't want to tell the people or audience or the fans that they were doing classes.
Mm,
First, because some artists used to say that, oh, if you're taking classes, if you're taking lessons, you will lose your you lose your thing, you lose your style, you lose your authenticity, you lose your personality on the
uh,
singing. And in the other hand, they wanted to keep this kind of magical thing on. Yeah, I don't want to I don't need to take lessons. I'm blessed.
mm,
Everyone can sing, but just me, just my voice, just my body can do this magical thing or create this atmosphere. You see, then, let's say 20 years ago or 10 years ago, I don't remember exactly.
uh,
And it started to change into like, oh, if you do, then your voice will last longer, then you can do more concerts, then the whole thing started to change. Um,
mm.
I, how is that in Africa? Did you have the same thing? Like, I
No.
don't take
and
lessons because I'm good enough.
No. It's just that I don't need it. I would say that it is more like I don't need to take lesson because it is something that comes from God,
Yeah,
from supernatural,
yeah,
from it's supernatural.
yeah,
It is just there.
yeah.
So it is not linked to the ego of not taking classes,
Hmm.
but it is just so spiritual
Yeah. Hmm.
that for people they now it's changing, but people even do not think that much about like why should I take classes,
Hmm.
you know? But I think also because it is linked to the industry.
Yeah.
I always say to my to the singers I work with in Africa that they are not that much into taking classes because they do not face a situation where they have to take classes.
Exactly.
So actually, the vocal technique doesn't like the main purpose of the vocal technique, the way I see it,
Hmm.
is to help you to do what you do
Hmm.
better and longer.
Yeah. Yeah.
But but in order to do it better and longer, you need to have gigs.
Yeah. Sure.
You need to have tours. So it's only when you're under pressure that you feel the needs of, I think I need, because today I don't have voice and I have to perform,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And even singing in church, you kill your voice on Sunday and then you have 7 days
Mm.
to recover and kill your voice again.
Yeah.
And this for years.
Yes, and yes. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
So it is, I think, like it is connected with how intense
Hmm.
is your singing.
Yeah.
And yeah, but now things are changing. Think people
Hmm.
understand that they should take classes because they want to know more, they want to have more control on their voice, whether they have concerts or not.
Hmm.
But you can still feel that because the music industry, like in Africa, it's more developed on the traditional part and on the digital
Hmm.
part.
Hmm.
So there's a lot of people releasing music online, and there's so many
Yeah.
people. But then, like between them, maybe only 1 or 2% have a lot of concerts.
Okay.
So there's not that much. So that's why also they do not feel that much the need
Hmm.
of taking classes. You know,
Mm.
it's not so much to. It's not so much because they are afraid of losing their style or anything. They're just not under pressure enough.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally see. Totally see. So as you're mentioning, is something that I consider for myself, but I really want to hear from you, and especially in MVT because what attracted me to MVT, and later on perhaps I do a episode on the history of the methodologies and the tree of it, how it, where's the root and where it goes, but
Yeah,
doesn't matter for now. But the thing is, like MVT is like Andres founded MVT with Magda, and Andres is a Uruguayan person that was looking for technique for singing tango and salsa mostly, and Irish music. So what I want to say with that, and then Magda, she's singing music from the Balkans, flamenco, and it's like fantastic dancer. So they're performers. They are using the technique for several different reasons and purposes, and that was the point of kind of attracting me to like, oh, technique then for them, as I think, is a vehicle, is something leading you to your art, to your authenticity, to your way of doing stuff. Is that the thing for you also, like technique as a tool, not as an end? Is that the same for you?
oh definitely. Oh, definitely. Like definitely. I even I even love to say when I'm in studio recording artists, I love to say to them, like, I don't want to hear any technique.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear any technique when recording in
Mm-hmm.
studio. If you have to break it, just break it. I don't care.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, like just to enhance the fact that here there's no technique. I don't want your brain to be there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
and there's a downside of teaching vocal technique
Mm-hmm.
is that at the same time that we help singers to understand their voice, at the same time, we are giving them so much information they actually don't need.
Exactly.
So when they start to perform, they're thinking about this information we told them.
Yeah, kind of.
So they're on the brain. So that's why I love to say, like, I don't want to hear any technique now.
Yeah.
So definitely vocal technique is a tool
Yeah.
to take you somewhere, to help you to do what you want to do in the best like in the better way.
Yeah. Man, I remember starting on the journey on vocal production, like first couple of times in studio with great producers in Brazil, and then one fantastic producer from Rio, Cassim, like Grammy winner, like I don't know, 10 times. I don't remember exactly how many. Sorry. Um, then he came to me, like first recording we did together, and he came to me like, you know how why I hire you, right? I said, probably yes. I'm here to help the voice and blah blah blah. And then yeah, right. But do you know why I didn't fire you? I said no. No, he told me then you're not in the way here in the studio, so you're not trying to put technique all over. You're here sitting, waiting, first taking your space, your seat, your position, which is great. So you're silent and you're kind of just here to help. That's pretty clear. When the singer comes to the mic, in the case she just sings. She just sings. That's what I need as a producer. Exactly the same thing you were saying. I just want a singer to come to the mic and sing. I don't want like, oh, open your mouth more or less. I want the emotion. I want the phrasing. I want the expression. I want the rhythm. That's what I need. Then if we don't have it, I give you a moment and then you fix it and we come back to music. We do not
Definitely.
talk about technique inside
I
of
love
this
it.
booth. I remember
I love
so clearly. And he's kind of super nerd. He trained himself to have a poker face ever. Like it's
I
always
love it.
he
I
never
love it.
changes. He trained for that. I promise. He's super proud. Like
Oh,
I don't change my face.
oh my
Always
gosh, I
the
love
same. No, but of course like fun story, but it's so important for us as teachers. Like in this community of teachers that is MVT, or it doesn't matter. Like any teacher that is looking or watching the show or listening to it. Uh, our role, what we're doing. Yeah, we're training voices for singing, but then it's for singing. It's not for you know drop your larynx. Kind of behave. It's kind of
exactly.
make people cry, make people laugh, make people jump. Like as you're saying, like
So much.
show yourself. Like give me your
Ex-
your sauce, right? Uh, and
exactly.
talking about the devil, man, you're performing, right? You're doing shows. You're performing in Barcelona and
Yeah.
all over. Let us know a little bit about it. What is the project? How is it going?
Um, I I do perform on, like, I'm writing new songs
Mm-hmm.
now. I've been releasing no, I've released an album,
Mm-hmm.
a previous album, with an old friend,
Mm-hmm.
and it was great. It had a very good success in Africa.
Amazing.
It has been recognized, and that was amazing. Now it is time to take the road as a solo singer.
Yeah.
So I do perform a lot in Barcelona.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I'm writing new songs also,
Super.
because I wanna get back on stage with the new stories
Great.
and new music.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, for now it's more on the discovering the Spanish scene,
Uh huh.
music
Yeah. Yeah.
scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I'm more into it, because it's been like 2 years, almost 2 years that I'm in Barcelona.
Yeah.
So I'm still exploring, creating the network, knowing who does what and who to be with and who to know.
Mm-hmm.
And this takes
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Yeah. And for the curious people listening to it, I'll drop, if you're checking on YouTube, I'll drop the links for the album, the previous album, and information about Gwen for sure down here in the description below. And then you can check,
Thank you.
or just, Gwen Thomas, Google Gwen
Yeah.
Thomas, you found the thing. But, to make it easier for you, it will be here for you to search. And man, then as we're talking, just like you told me, it's difficult for us to find authenticity when we have several talents. Just like yourself, like you're very good performer. I've seen you on stages, like very strong, very authentic, beautiful, great voice. And
Yeah.
as a producer, we're working together here and there, and we're about to do something that it's a talent. And then as a vocal coach, I've seen you really take people to a next level, finding this beautiful connection between technique and the artistry. What is the most pleasant thing for you to do? There's one thing that is more pleasant for you to do, like one thing or the other, like performing or teaching, or it's more or less the same.
Oof. I would say that I think for me the most pleasant to do is producing.
Okay.
Why? Because I would say producing, then performing, then teaching, or maybe producing, teaching, performing. Why? Why producing? Because I don't like kind of routine. And what I love with producing is that it always changes. The story is different, even if the process is the same, but the story is different. According to the project, this one will have special instrument. This one will be acoustic. This one will be with full band.
Yeah.
This one will be with more African influenced, more pop influenced, and I feel like I'm always into something new.
That's great.
When I work with a new artist, when I work with on a new album for another artist, I'm always working on something new. Uh, then I would say also performing, because performing is a high um, is a high place of sharing for me. Like like the way I feel it, the vibration uh, is really 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 strong. And what I love with teaching is that it is beautiful.
Yeah.
It For me, teaching is helping a flower to grow and to see how the flower is beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, it's just helping. It's not about me. Like it is not about me. It is about the flower.
Yeah.
And I just want to give what the flower needs to be beautiful. And the flower is beautiful because the flower is beautiful, not because of me.
Yeah.
So it's not about me. That's why the process for me it is very different. When I teach, I feel like I'm watching something being like beautiful and opening in front of my
Yeah. Yeah.
eyes.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
And which is totally different from which is creating, like it's me creating. I put myself into it in order to be authentic. I put myself into it. But teaching is watching the flower grow, and
It's so
it's
great.
beautiful.
It's so great. That is so great. So amazing. Beautiful. Man,
Thank you, bro.
so just checking here, on the things we discussed before the show, and then one, I have to ask you because this is like better than a Grammy for all the singers, and especially the technique we are following. So the way we teach, based on SLS, speech level singing, and then we have this like the main artists of speech level singing are touring and still alive, hopefully, alive forever. Stevie
Yeah.
Stevie Wonder, you've been there on stage with Stevie Wonder, man. Let us know a little bit about it. How it was, nerves or just excitement. How it was for you to perform, to be on stage with the man.
Yeah, it was magical. It was magical. It was a lesson I learned like from for my whole life, musically, but also so much on the human point about sharing also, you know. So uh, I've been honored to be a backing vocalist for three, four concerts in Europe during the tour, the famous At Last tour. The videos are all over YouTube, like because this concert was so good. Um, and yes, I mean, it's Stevie Wonder.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the guy is a legend. Is so generous. Behind the scene, you can see how tired he is,
Yeah, sure.
but when he goes on stage, he's like a child.
Yeah.
He's like a child. It was so strong. And I remember like the first thing that really shocked me is that we had for the first concert we had the not the rehearsal, the sound check. We had a sound check, and I thought that we will not do sound check with Stevie. Like it's sunny,
Yeah.
it's so hot, and, you know. So we will just go to do the sound check on ourselves, and then later we will see him. But he was there.
Yeah.
So it was there for the sound check, and it was not a 30-minute sound check. It was like a concert. It was like so long, and actually I have more I have more uh, um, beautiful things in memory about the sound check
Sure.
than the concert
Sure.
itself,
Yeah.
because I didn't expect to do such a long sound check. It was a concert.
Yeah. Great.
So generous, and he's there for what he does, and he wants to share. He's giving what the audience wants to listen. This is yeah, it is amazing. It is amazing. A life listen, and the most shocking part is when at the end of this concert, then he was waiting in a room, and then he stand up there just wait for us to shake hands and say thank you. When he told me thank you for singing with me, I was like, really? Thank you for being you. My gosh, I'm a singer. I'm a singer thanks to you, you know. But like after, it was really difficult for me. After singing with him, it was really difficult because what we've been taught in life is that life is like a pyramid. The more you work, the more you go on
On
top
top.
of the. And for me, Stevie was the top
Yeah, I see.
pyramid.
I see what I see. Yeah.
And I like in my younger experience, I didn't have that much of experience like I have now. But as I wouldn't say I started, but few years few years after being a professional singer, I was on stage with the top of my pyramid. After that, I was like, what do I do now?
Yeah. What is
Like,
next?
what is next?
Yeah.
I'm on the top. So I was just thinking myself then going down. I was just like, oh my gosh, this is a nightmare.
Yeah.
You know, I was just like, oh, I started on the top, so it means that the rest of the journey it will be
Coming down.
going
Coming
down.
back down. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've understood like years later that it helped me to really push the artist within me.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how I started to really embrace embrace my roots,
Yeah.
embrace my story. I think it was the path to take.
Yeah.
I couldn't do this and then go back on stage and sing some Otis Redding and some other Stevie Wonder, and it would have not make sense.
Yeah.
And I it took me a while to understand it, It took me a while to understand it, but then I knew that okay, because now it is my turn to take the road and embrace the artist within.
Yeah. Wow. That's great, man. That's great. And yeah, very important. I think very important for all the professions, but especially for people dealing with art. Um, I don't know if you remember. I told you about the movie. It's an animation, so it's not a movie. It's like animation about the artist journey. Like it's like an old artist uh, that used to play in circus, and then he's getting old, and then everything is changing. I'll share later on, and then I'll put the name. I don't remember the name. I think it's The Illusionist, but I'll put the name on the description for the ones looking for. And then it talks a little bit about the timeline of a artist, which is, you know, it changes that much. One day you're 5 star, the next day you're -1 star.
Mm,
One day you're playing at, with the best money and the best scenario, like, and then the next day you know, it's up and down, up and down. And I totally think that is very, very, very difficult for us to deal with it, but we do not talk about it that much.
oof, no.
You see, because
Oh
it
no.
feels like it feels great. You feel great, and then the next day you feel terrible. It's kind of, yeah, what I'm doing, and then the next day you're good, and then so difficult in my
Yeah.
sensation. I don't know. People perhaps some people just feel it natural, but for me, when I was playing more often, it was kind of, man, this is hard to deal because you have a punch in the face. The next day, someone is like carrying you. It's like, what is the problem? Let's
Yeah.
decide.
I think it like it is because of a misunderstanding in the music area, something we do not say enough.
Hmm.
And I've learned it watching several documentaries of big artists
Uh-huh.
touring, is that choosing the journey to be an artist, to go on stage
Hmm.
and to share your songs, and it's a constant struggle,
Yeah.
but it's a beautiful one.
Yeah.
It's a never-ending fight,
Hmm.
and the problem is that we have this misconception that we will work a lot for 10 years or for 15 years and then we're good, and then it will just go like, Foo.
Hmm.
Lie,
It's a
lie.
lie. Yeah. That's the big
It's
lie.
a lie. Because even after having 5 success album, you will still hope the sixth one is a success.
Yeah.
It's a never-ending process.
Mm.
And I used to say to a friend that when you start, you struggle to fill up a room of 150 people.
Yeah.
And at the top of your career, at your top of your career, you will struggle to fill up a room of 2,500 people. The struggle is still the same,
Exactly.
filling up the room.
Yeah.
And the problem is that we have this misconception that we think that we work a lot and then we will rest because we worked a lot and then everything will just go smoothly like a reward.
Yeah.
But actually, no.
It's not.
The struggle is there. The fight is there. It's a never ending fight.
Hmm.
So that's why when you choose to enter in this path, you better be ready because it will never end. You
Yeah.
know? So we we should stop making the music career like, oh, it's a beautiful,
Hmm. Hmm.
yeah, the flowers. Yeah. No, no, no. Yes, it's beautiful to create. It's beautiful to share music with other people, but you have to be ready there
Yeah.
that you are in a journey where it's about fighting. And yes, sometimes you will be like, yes, I won. And sometimes you'll be like, oh, I'm down. You have to be
Hmm.
ready about
Yeah.
it, you know?
Super.
Yeah.
Super. Super. Oh yeah, man. Let's come back to voice.
Yeah.
So, what I want to ask again, sharing several professions within your own profession, which is, deal with art, deal with singing mostly. Um, do you like to train and then produce the singers? What I mean, kind of, for example, teaching someone and then producing this very same person to record, or you don't, or are you able to kind of switch? Like, oh, this is one chair for me and this is the other chair for me, or it's problematic for you to kind of change the mindset.
No, I love it.
Good.
I love it because for me it's the same
Mm-hmm.
process. We learn to sing because we want to share.
Great. Super.
So for me, it's the same process. So we learn, we master the voice uh, in a way we will need
Mm-hmm.
in the production.
Yeah.
So I, as a producer and voice coach, I know already from the beginning, okay, the artist is singing this way, so I cannot bring like very hard brass section,
Mm-hmm.
or the artist wants something very powerful, so I should work on this part of his voice so he could be more powerful.
Yeah.
So I really kind of shape the artist according to the project
Yeah.
we will work. So for me, like all these things are connected. For me, what is absolutely not easy is to jump from producing to teaching, and it's not the same person.
I see. I see.
Oh my gosh, like it kills me. And to be fully honest, it takes because when I dive into production or when I dive into singing,
Mm-hmm.
I like when I dive like
Yeah.
I go really deep.
Mm-hmm.
So when I get out of it, and then I was mixing a song, or I was recording, and then I have to teach. I even don't know which exercise to do
Yeah.
because my brain is all over the place.
Yeah.
I'm like, what can I do with pee pee, babe, 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 babe. Like I'm lost
Yeah.
because my mind is so much into
Mm-hmm.
creating
Mm-hmm.
like the production. So it doesn't for me this is like this is the most difficult
Yeah.
is to jump from production
Mm-hmm.
to teaching when it's not the same person. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. And to be fully honest with you, I have a note with some of my favorite
Mm-hmm.
exercises.
Mm-hmm.
So when I jump, I just read the notes to help me to get back my knowledge. It's like I forget how to be a voice coach.
Let's download again.
Let's download it.
No, that's great. Because it's another system. It's like be creative and be analytic is different thing. It's a different thing,
Different.
man. And then one thing that perhaps could be a helpful thing from my experience. Then you're just saying the same thing, but you're saying about yourself. I'll say in my perspective, which is when I have someone else producing, which is when I know we are going to record something to do an album, whatever, single, doesn't matter, record. And then the singer tells me, yeah, this is going to be the producer. This lady, this man, doesn't matter. What I do, I call the producer as a vocal coach.
Aha.
As a vocal coach.
Yeah.
Why so? I ask the producer what we're looking for. From the artist's perspective, I know. But then the producer will tell me, yeah, I'm looking for this particular rhythmic sensation, or this powerful note on top, or this or that or that. And then I direct my preparation for the recording very specifically, not as a general lesson.
Exactly.
Like we're stopping lessons. I still take care of the technique for sure. No, I'm looking for that all the time, but I'm starting to kind of modulate the brain and the mindset of the singer for having that goal as natural as possible. Again, for during the studio session, not talk about technique. So I want
Mm-hmm.
to have all the information that I need before the session. And then in the session, I'm there just to drink coffee.
Exactly.
For sure not. For sure not. Yeah, I'm there for the thing. But then we have this clear and more fluent conversation. Me as almost like a traducer or interpreter of this producer mind to the singer's mind, back and forth. Then I'm there just to help this communication, to help it to be more fluent, to be more easy to go, and exactly the way you explained. But instead of like being myself, like doing one thing and then the other, I go there and ask. I never, I'm askers. I had one time a prize for asking the more, like the person that asked, they give me a paper, like the hands up man. It's like, I was like, all the time, because then we, just thinking that I'm love to learn just like you were saying, like producing things. It's always different, so you learn all the time. You're talking to amazing people. Just, I love it. That's why I love to be with you all the time. Like, we're discussing, I'm learning all the time. You're telling me stories and we're sharing. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. And then when producing for me is always that, talking to amazing people, interesting people, receiving new information is like all the flavors, different perspectives, and creating communication, creating emotions. For me is like, that's my goal. That's my goal. That's
And I found it very beautiful. I found it like it is very beautiful. Instead of shaping a voice to be shaped,
yeah,
but shaping a voice to change the world.
yeah,
Shaping a voice to so that this voice can move people,
yeah,
can send a big message. It's not the same. It's not the same way of teaching, I would say.
yeah,
Because we can shape a voice our whole life. But when you shape a voice for a purpose, oh my gosh.
yeah,
So I really agree with what you said about asking, like, what do you need me
yeah,
to work on with the
yes,
artist? Like, how, as a producer, how do you see this
yeah,
artist singing in the production you're doing? So let's work on that.
exactly. And I just saw an interview with Rick Rubin. This kind of like big bird, big white bird, kind of crazy,
Yeah.
fantastic. And this discussion goes around that they're talking, but then he's insisting in the way, something that you're pointing out too, which is towards the authenticity. All the time you're pointing to it, which is, do not do art for the market. Do saying what you believe, what you feel, what you truly want to communicate, the way you want to move the world, or the one you want to touch. And I see you doing that all the time. But I just want to ask, literally, I've just told you what I feel about you, but do you look at it in this way, like the voice? So we arranging voices, helping voices, for literally opening the door for the authenticity to kind of explode out and then start to communicate. Is that the way you think?
Yes, I definitely do think this way. It can be, if I have to comment
Mm-hmm.
these quotes from Rick Rubin. I've seen this.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've seen this reel. And as a producer and a voice coach,
Mm-hmm.
I do believe that it is fully true,
Mm-hmm.
but it can be also misinterpreted.
Of course.
Because if you do not target, then don't complain that you don't have a target.
Yes.
If you do not target, then don't complain that you don't have followers. You didn't target.
Yeah.
So at some point we have to target.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the quote of Rick Rubin, maybe because it's a reel and it has to be short,
Mm-hmm.
but the role as an artist is to be an artist and to deliver a
Yeah.
message.
Yes.
My role as a producer is to shape the song for the target the artistic director
Yes.
said. So actually, as a music producer, okay, I'm also an artistic director, so I have both, I do both. But sometimes I work with artistic director, and as a music producer, I will always ask to the artistic director, which is the direction?
Exactly.
Like, what is the target?
Yeah.
Because if I put some full drums, heavy drums, I can tell you my mom will not listen to it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I put some electronic stuff, my mom will not listen to it. So every target has his habit, has his way of listening to
Yeah.
music. So I work under an artistic direction because at some point the product has to be target. But yes, it is not the goal of the artist to think about the target. Is the role of the artistic director and then the music
Yeah.
producer make it into a real thing,
Amazing.
you know? But yes, definitely it is about authentic. Being authentic it is about being real. It is about telling your story, you know? Like we just don't want to know why you um like we don't want to know that you had a heartbreak. We want to know why. We want to know how you faced it. We want to know how you overcome it. And this what makes the success of a singer like Adele, because she's fully authentic
Yeah.
about her heartbreak and how she felt. She will even go like, "Yeah, I love to drink." Yes, she will be like fully authentic about
Yeah.
it. That's why people connect so much.
Exactly.
So that's the role of the artist, is to be fully authentic. But sometimes because of the social media and everything, we tend to show only the good and the positive. But actually, what moves people is the dark parts
Yeah.
where you've been you've crossed, and that how you overcome it, and what like who you are now.
Yeah.
So definitely being authentic, but targeting the market. Yes, we do have to target the market because so many different people listen to the music in a different way, so
Yeah.
we have to target, but it's not the job of the artist.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Bro, I gotta go. We gotta go. Otherwise, it gets too
Oh,
long. Um, Lovely. Thank you so much. I
could speak like this for 2
yeah,
hours.
yeah, we could be here for days. Literally.
I'm telling you.
Man, amazing. For sure, I will invite you back to the show for us to talk, other perspectives. I think it's very interesting for people also looking for being teachers to understand the other point or the other points or where it can leads to. So not just like, literally doing exercises and helping voices. It's beautiful for sure, but what is the end of it? Kind of putting people to sing professionally or not, and then we are always discussing about this, and we have like plenty of ideas for having more discussions here. So I will ask you back to the show again, if you allow me,
Definitely, when you want.
for
When you
sure.
want.
And then my friends looking or checking the show, remember to subscribe, remember to comment, put if you have questions, please put it here, because then when I have Gwen again, I can ask him, or even we can do short videos on that for you. And we're here for discussing teaching, discussing music, learning how to teach music, teach voice, and having fun with it. Gwen, my friend, thank you so much. um,
Thank you so much for the
it's
invitation.
my pleasure. So if you wanna Gwen to produce your song or your album, the information will down here on the description below. And always check if you wanna teach voice more professionally, if you wanna learn more about the voice, go for modernvocaltraining.com. Thank you, Gwen.
Thank you so
Big pleasure, my
much.
friend. See you.
So much. It was great. Thank you so
Lovely.
much.
Bye.
Ciao.